Hey, how are my champions doing? Thank you for stopping by. I am Miss Please, and you have joined me on Real Talk. So come on in, have a seat, sit down, let's get comfortable. I decided to put earphones on today to do my broadcast. Oh gosh, how are you doing where you're at? Here it is 3 digits. It is super hot. I'm enjoying the sun rays though. I'm keeping my social distancing. And the pools are still closed, so heat without water is rough, let me tell you. But I just wanted to touch bases and see how everyone was doing and talk a little bit more about today as it may be from a leadership standpoint. And I saw an example with, I guess the vice president was wearing a mask while he was out in public and he was ridiculed. TV, the anchors for the news are out with masks on and they're being ridiculed. We're too opinionated. We're too much, we have too much of an opinion about things that aren't of value, that aren't paying your rent, paying your car, putting food on your table, that's not giving you a paycheck. We have too many opinions. If we voted for someone who liked to tweet their personal opinions, okay, I'm not saying it's right, wrong, or indifferent. I'm just saying okay. But to complain about people concerned about their own personal safety, that's not a. Why are you ridiculing? That shouldn't be an issue of anybody's except for the person that's protecting themselves. You know, the other thing that I saw that was of concern to me was the the black guy that was killed. I don't remember the state. I do apologize, but the police officer had his knee on his neck, and he kept saying he couldn't breathe. I I want to say that not that exact scenario happens in the business world, but that scenario of a lesser, not even lesser, because that what happened on the news was just terrible. It was heinous, just terrible. But I thought about I thought about that in the sense of work. Um, and before you ridicule what I'm saying, just hear me out. Oftentimes when you're at work and somebody of power or leadership is doing something to an employee to cause stress, strife, anything, strain, to make them not perform at their job well, to make them want to quit, to uh, cause injury to their health. We need to think about our actions and the reaction that it could possibly create. um, and again, I'm not comparing it to the magnitude of the situation with the black man who died because the police's knee or leg was on his neck. I'm not comparing it to that magnitude at all. I'm saying that situation really made me think as a leader. Excuse me. And I did eat nuts. So I think that this whole coughing, choking is because of nuts. Um, but I think the problem is that too often, as leaders, we stand by and turn a blind eye when we see something happening that's wrong. That is my concern. Always has been my concern. You don't have to be on anyone's bandwagon. What you're supposed to do is operate with integrity, honesty, integrity, transparency, um, as a human, being humanistic. Yes, humanistic is not perfect, but humanistic is not pure evil either. That, or it shouldn't be. Um, and my point today is, I'll get to the point. My point today is basically, you as a leader in any position you're in, one of the things when you get a job is to operate with integrity to the best of your knowledge. And if you see an employee, even management, I don't care what level you're at, if you see someone doing something wrong, I think it's okay to say something. How you say it is the key, but I think it's okay to say something. I've seen where bosses have asked somebody to do something that's downright wrong. Should you say something? Yes. But standing there and turning a blind eye, that's wrong. To me, you're just as guilty as the person doing something. I recall a moment when um, there was an employee, and the employee was having a hard time physically, mentally, emotionally, health wise, and because management disliked this employee, that management person rode this employee. And then when I got the employee on my shift, I was like, no, like, dude, do what you need to do. Because if you're not in your best state of mind or halfway best state of mind, how can you perform for me? You're going to make mistakes. You're going to forget something. And I'm not saying that you send an employee home or you excuse their performance because they're having a bad day, but I don't have to operate in the same capacity as the person that was, and I'm going to say this for a lack of better terms, of bullying another employee because you have leadership power. And I understand that some people believe that you have to be stern. Yes, there's a difference between stern and abuse of power. And abuse of power is the piece that I'm speaking on. And I think there are a lot of great managers out there and supervisors and leaders. And it's just um, that small percent, 5% of the world that are in these leadership positions, that they really don't understand your responsibility as a leader. Your responsibility as a leader is to lead those that follow, to promote those that it best fits, and to mentor, to coach. That is your job, not with a hidden agenda, but in fairness and honesty. I think that builds an amazing reputation for yourself, for the company. I just think it sets a better tone. And I just wanted to tell my junior leaders out there that are just graduating from high school or college, and you're looking for that leadership position. You I understand that you have to follow suit with whatever the environment is or the culture is that you are hired into or that you work in or work for. But at some point, there's that pivotal point where you're like, okay, it's enough. I'm gonna do what's right. I'm not gonna go against grain. I'm not gonna be confrontational, but I'm gonna do what's right. And people will respect you for that. People will respect you and appreciate you for that. And so when I saw the the short piece that I saw on the news about the police officer doing that to the man, yeah, he probably had a reason to put the man on the ground, but he didn't have a reason to cut off his circulation and to cut off the air to cause this person to pass away. And the piece that really upsets me is, well, not upset. The piece that's disappointing is that The officer behind was just standing there. Man, come on. You hear the gentleman screaming, I can't breathe, I can't breathe. And yes, you know, at some point the whole thing was wrong. But at some point, my whole point of bringing this up is at some point as a leader in a leadership position, as a humanitarian, you have to be able to say, you know what, I have a voice, and hey, that's enough. You let me help you. Let's put this guy in handcuffs, and then talk to him from there, or let's call for backup. But some of our actions are not called for, and I see this in leadership. I talk to people in leadership. I listen. Oh my gosh, I listen. I listen to what everyone has to share and say because I learn also. I'm not always teaching. I learn too. And sometimes not saying something is more damaging than anything. And I just think that we need in these uncertain times to operate better with under integrity and honesty and transparency. We have to, guys. There's so much already against us. You know, not to go on a tangent, but this whole kind of lips are dry. This whole COVID, this is a war that they said on the news. This is a war. Yes, it's a war. But guess what? It's a war with something that you cannot see. You can't fight it. You don't see it. You don't know where it's at. You don't know where it's hiding. You just don't know. So the sad part is we're all fighting an invisible fight to make sure that everybody stays mentally sane, sound mind, healthy, not homeless, you know, not destitute. We're all trying to fight that fight of avoiding those things and to be terrible towards one another. What it's not serving a purpose. It's not making anyone any better than someone else. It's not putting anybody in a better place, permanently in a better place. Stealing from people, it's not making you rich. It's giving you something temporarily, but it's not making you rich. Hurting somebody because you're angry, it's not fixing anything. All you're doing is pissing off other people. So I come to you in hopes that we all think about our actions, our words, um, and you don't. I just I know you're not going to like everybody. You're not going to be compassionate for everybody, but you know what? We're human. At the end of the day, we are human, right? At the end of the day, everybody wakes up, right, with air in their lungs, with an opportunity to do something, to see another day, a beautiful day. So I think that we need to continue to show compassion, love, gratitude, and look past all this other stuff. You know, everybody's going back to work. Some people are going back, some are not. If you go back, you're very fortunate. But because you go back, it doesn't make you better than anybody else. I learned many years ago that no job is a guaranteed job. Everybody is expendable. Leaders are expendable. Employees are expendable. So just think about that. My future leaders, my leaders, um, my graduates, those that are getting promoted into leadership, that are trying to get promoted into leadership, just keep that in the back of your mind. You know, when you're faced with adversity or with uncertainty, or you have a concern of a behavior, an action, or a situation, just remember What is the right thing to do? And if you don't know, reach out to your up above people. That's what we're here for you to say, hey, I'm not sure how to handle this situation. What are your thoughts? Brainstorm. So, anyway, it's hot out here. It was a pleasure hanging out with you, talking with you. Thank you again for stopping by. Much love. Until then, we'll talk soon. Peace.